The Nintendo Direct happened a week ago, and I've mostly been busy with work, but also had some time to think. And I've gotta say, while some things were great, the majority of it was either mid or just straight up bad. So go ahead, stick around, and hear me yap about it. Because there are definitely parts of the Direct that rubbed me the wrong way, or left me thinking it's just dumb. And really showing the company as a whole is very delusional and grown apart from their actual audience, and the fact that their greed is frankly being just brought out in the open without much of a care anymore. Now, this isn't just me saying this is a growing opinion shared among both fans and those that hate the company as well as their games. Because even I admit, on multiple occasions throughout the years, long before I even started this channel, I hate the companies, but I do enjoy their games. Yet, things are now getting harder and harder to even say that, because there are parts of this Direct that just kinda rubbed me the wrong way. So, starting off with the Direct, they announced the 40th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros., which of course, this all starts off all well and good. Then they showed off something exciting, that of course is the Super Mario Galaxy movie. The first one was decent, however it was a little funny or odd depending on the person, that the CEO of Illumination, Chris Meledandri, talked about the movie right after, yet he only mentions the actors that we already know from the first movie. Nothing new, no new actors announced or characters that'll be in it, outside of course the obvious, Rosalina. But even then, we don't know who's voicing her, at least not right now. After that, it's no real surprise that they announced both Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 bundle. The odd thing, of course, is the fact that the first Mario Galaxy game was already brought back in the 3D All-Stars, of course, for a limited time. But we get it again, and along with its sequel. Typically, this would be alright, and it gets people excited, of course. However, when you see the actual pricing for this bundle, that's where the greed starts to show. Of course, it is $70. The ugly pricing point of AAA games. In before, of course, $80 takes over completely. Which, in of itself, neither shouldn't be the standard. But to have the bundle of two old games like this, the sequel being, of course, from 15 years ago, while the first game that released is almost 2 decades old at this point. So how on earth is this $70 a reasonable price point? Of course, it's not. $40, maybe $50 tops if there is extra content added onto it. Collections of artwork, more music, things like that. Maybe then something more expensive would be considered worth the pricing. The most simplest answer, of course, it's Nintendo, and it's Mario. Its brand name alone. And this news only makes things a bit worse, when I honestly was expecting an announcement of a new game, that of course being Super Mario Galaxy 3. Yeah, that didn't happen. After that, we instead got a new Mario Tennis and Yoshi game. The Yoshi game looks interesting to me at least, and sadly I was never really a Mario Tennis fan back in the day. Next, they briefly showed off a little more of Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. While they didn't reveal an official release date, they at least showed off a release window for that being spring 2026. Of course, this is one that I am indeed looking forward to. After a few announcements, we get quite possibly the oddest announcement in this Direct. They showcased the Virtual Boy. Why? Why show off a failed console? Reselling it a part of their Nintendo classics. Not just that, but the actual, virtual classics. Although this one is a bit different. Unlike the other classics, of course, apart from the Nintendo Switch Online, this series of games actually requires the Virtual Boy accessory to even play them. Not just that, it's of course exclusive to the Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack members only. That's count them, 2 paywalls required to play games of a console that even Nintendo came out and claimed to be a failure. So why? Why try reselling something like this again? And for those that haven't seen it yet, how much is this, you might be asking? Well, it is $100 for the recreation of the Virtual Boy, which I'm sure is going to be a very limited stock. If, of course, the pre-orders haven't gone up for sale yet, they will no doubt sell out almost immediately, just like the Switch 2, of course, most likely bought up by scalpers, next is collectors, or just those that want to lay claim to owning one. If that sells out, of course, they do have a cardboard model. Like, that's literally what they're calling it. It is a cardboard version. That one is $25. On top of that, you need the more expensive paid online membership, that of course being $50 annually. So of course, fans will throw down money and more on this in a heartbeat, that being of course scalpers. Even when Nintendo themselves say that only 14 games will be available, releasing over time of course, instead having all of it, or the majority of the 14 games available, and then releasing the remaining exclusive titles that were only released in Japan over time. Beyond that, of course, it is just crazy to see them doing this. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was shown, and Samus gets a cool bike. Donkey Kong Bonanza receives DLC, where players can return to DK Island, along with a special Emerald Rush mode. It's cool, however, I still need to play through the game myself at some point. Now, I know my viewers' retention, and so if you're still watching, this is the point where I actually get excited about something, because Game Freak shows off a actual unique Pokemon game that has aspects of Minecraft mixed with Animal Crossing. This game is called Pokepia, where you play as a Ditto, and I assume one that has been long abandoned by its trainer. Looking at the old and broken Pokedex, it takes the form of its former trainer, taking the shape of a very goofy-looking human. And in this game, you can find wild Pokemon, learn different techniques from them in order to craft and reshape the island as you see fit. It's honestly a cute looking game, and quite frankly, I am shocked that they have not done something like this until now. Immediately after that, we do get to see more of Legends EA, with the biggest thing shown off is of course the Kalos starters getting megas, and further proving that the leaks are indeed real. The sad fact though, that these 3 Mega Evolutions are locked behind ranked online matches. Now, the only reason why this has issues among fans of the series, myself included, however, there's people out there that want to point out that this isn't anything new, because Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon did something similar, and whether you want to argue if Generation 6 X and Y, or even Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire did this too, I think people are forgetting the most important thing about this. All those games previously had free online. Now of course today, even if it's only $20 annually, these megas are still being locked behind a paywall. Not just that, it is a limited window, with each one being behind a different season. Now, I'm sure maybe at some point they will be available, maybe through a mystery gift of some kind, later on, or just be given to people, I don't know. It is, of course, just one thing, but what comes immediately after that is just another addition of greed. Because after that, they do show off a surprising paid DLC for Legends EA called Mega Dimension. Now, not to sound overly hypocritical of this, but I have no real issue when it comes to paid DLC or expansions for games. The odd thing about this, of course, for me, and I'm sure many other people, is when paid DLC is announced before the game is even out. Many other people out there, of course, have the very same thought on this. Now, because of this early announcement before the games are even released, many people have different theories on why, some of which say that Legends EA was originally supposed to be released earlier this year already. However, I think it was due to the Terra leaks, they pushed the release date back. There's also that paid DLC is releasing on schedule before February next year. And the last theory is the fact that Game Freak, Nintendo, and the Pokemon Company are wanting to get this out before the franchise's 30th anniversary for Pokemon, in time for the potential announcement of Generation 10. Now, who knows exactly what the truth is, unless Game Freak, the Pokemon Company, or Nintendo themselves have said something already. Because honestly, beyond that, announcing paid DLC for any game is just odd. It's very, very odd to do. Like, many people have mixed feelings about this. Because, in all honesty, if none of the things above are true, this can be easily pointed out as simply more greed. Because honestly, the normal consumer is not very well open to buying paid DLC for a product that they don't even currently have yet. It seems like they're way too confident if none of the theories that I pointed out before comes true. And honestly, for the most part, that is the Direct. I kind of skipped over a lot of the parts that weren't heavily focused around Nintendo or games that really stood out to me. So for the most part, that is the Direct. Again, there is some good that came out of this, yet the majority of it for me honestly was mid or showing different aspects of greed from Nintendo. And again, throughout the years here lately, a lot more fans have been seeing more and more of Nintendo's greed, and I feel that this Direct was just not the greatest. Because, yeah, really, at the end of the day, this certainly wasn't the greatest Direct in recent years, and probably the most odd thing that they announced during this Direct was reselling of the Virtual Boy. Like, I don't really get that part specifically. There's, of course, the other things that I mentioned, but for the most part, that was about it. That was the most recent Nintendo Direct. So let me know your thoughts down below. What were your thoughts on the Nintendo Direct in the comments below? Did you like it? Did you hate it? You have similar thoughts as me? I'd like to hear them. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later! Boing, boing, boing. Boing.